What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up and Chat. My name is BJ Mathews, a.k.a. B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, as well as Spotify, Iheartradio, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, where you can check out all of our Sunday shows every single week. Twitter and TikTok, our social media as well. The Pull Up Basketball Podcast, as well as my Instagram is BJizzle, BJIZZLLE. Follow my co-host, Rick Masters, at RickMasters23. Follow us on Instagram at _the_pull-up_, as well as like, share, subscribe all of our videos by hitting that notification bell on the top of the screen. Get our updated content, and I'll remember to put all of our information in the description box. So let's get it popping. Okay. Now, this is a topic I feel like I wouldn't say people miss, but they tend to overlook, right? In playing sports, you're more prone to get injured the longer you play, because you're putting your body through grueling tactics that is against the norm of a human body. The pounding, the jumping, if you play football, the tackling, getting hit, all those things you're going to factor into probably getting hurt at some point in your career, which is understandable. But we all know there are some players that are more prone to get injured than others. And these two players, Kawhi Leonard and Anthony Davis, they've been in the realm of the people who you have to, really watch about, being hurt or the opportunity they might get hurt. Again, I don't know if it's because they're top players or if they're just players who really you have to really worry about if they get hurt or not. But before we actually get into who's more hurt, that's going to be the question for today. Who's more injury prone between Kawhi Leonard and Anthony Davis? We must first define what injury prone really means. So 1 second. So I got the definition right here. It's pretty simple. Injury prone basically is a person who's frequently injured or sustaining injuries. So let me read that again. Injury prone are people who are frequently injured or constantly sustaining injuries. Now, here's the deal. Let me start with Anthony Davis. So we're going to do this both back and forth. Let me start with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis just got hurt yet again against the Utah Jazz last night. He sprained his ankle. They're saying he's going to be out for at least 2 weeks. That's kind of the diagnosis. I didn't watch the game because I don't respect the Utah Jazz. I think they're front-running frauds. I think they're a team that does well in the season, but constantly gets talked about as if they're a championship team, which they're not. We saw that last year in full display against the Los Angeles Clippers, who were shorthanded without Kawhi Leonard, and they completely exposed themselves, because I was at that game live in Game 6 where they gave up more than a 20-point lead against a team that was pretty much down their best player and a couple other key role players. So I don't really respect the Utah Jazz. They're more of a team that's going to be a punching bag in the playoffs. They lack mental toughness. And, I didn't have to waste my time watching that game. And the Lakers, they've just been a disappointment all season. But I digress. Anthony Davis, he sprained his ankle yesterday. I did watch the highlights of the game. And when I first seen it, I was looking at it like, wow, this guy really This guy rolling around like he tore his Achilles or he broke his ankle. I thought that's what happened. By the reaction of Anthony Davis yelling and screaming as if somebody just shot him, I was like, wow, this dude must have, tore his, Achilles or something. I mean, just look at him. By this picture, I really believe that Anthony Davis sustained a real serious injury. But you want to know what's funny? Anthony Davis has never really sustained any real injuries in his entire career. Most of his injuries have been very, very minor. They have not been major. A knick-knack in the knee or the ankle or the back or the arm here and there. If you go back to New Orleans, Anthony Davis has never had no real big injuries where he had to miss the entire season. Now, you would think that because he always seems to be missing time here and there. So that kind of revolves around a person who's injury prone, because it's like every time he steps on the court, you're always thinking, can he get injured again? So, that's what I got to say about AD. But let me move to Kawhi Leonard. Now, Kawhi Leonard is the superstar small forward for the Los Angeles Clippers. We are constantly, we're patiently waiting on his return for March. I already had, revealed that he will be returning in March based off the sources that I know and, the people I've spoken to. He is reamping to get back on the court with Paul George in March, but that's for another video. Y'all can check that out. I made that video just yesterday, so check that information out. But as far as injuries are concerned with Kawhi Leonard, he's had two real major injuries, right? He had the injury in 2017 when Zaza stuck his foot out, and Kawhi Leonard, twisted his ankle. Then he got hurt again with his knee, right? So he got hurt twice in that game, which pretty much forced him to sit out for the rest of the playoffs, going into the 2017-2018 season. Kawhi Leonard pretty much missed that entire year. And that was kind of the start of, Kawhi Leonard missing time for load management, and was injury going to be a problem for this guy? Because prior to that, you really didn't hear nothing about Kawhi Leonard missing valuable time because of injuries. If he sat out, for a week here, a week there, just for precaution, right? That's something that Greg Popovich implemented, was load management. Now, in this picture, you can see Kawhi Leonard tore his Achilles last year against the playoffs against the Utah Jazz in the second round. Joe Ingles, the person, for the Utah Jazz, bumped him. Kawhi Leonard tears his Achilles partially, and he misses the rest of the playoffs, and he's still out right now. So we're patiently waiting. But just to get to the point, we got to go back to the definition. The definition of a person who's injury prone is a person who sustains injuries constantly and actually who's been prone to injury. So it's more of a situation when you're frequently injured based off of your history. How many times are you injured? How many times do we looking up and see that you're not playing these games? That's what injury prone pretty much comes down to. Now, for a guy like Kawhi Leonard I just mentioned, he's only had really two big main injuries, right? The one in San Antonio in 2017 and the one last year against the Utah Jazz. He's had little nicks here and there, but not really to the point where you have to constantly hold your breath and hope he doesn't get hurt. So when I think about who's more injury prone, the clear-cut answer is Anthony Davis. But what I think people get it confused is they think Kawhi Leonard's all injury and he doesn't play because he chooses to sit out. That's not what injury prone is. That's a person who's choosing to be precaution so he doesn't get injured. So I would rather have a guy in Kawhi Leonard who's smart with his body, who knows his body, knows not to rush anything, knows how to get the most out of it, than a guy like an Anthony Davis, who seems to me just doesn't have any real plan, doesn't really have any type of workout regimen to keep his joints strong. Because one thing you could say about Kawhi Leonard, he's naturally strong, but you could tell he works on his body, right? Anthony Davis in the offseason, to me, doesn't come off as somebody who works on his body. His muscles, his joints, these little knick-knack injuries, that has a lot to play into that you don't work out on your body when you're constantly getting these little knick-knack injuries. You don't really see Kawhi getting these knick-knack injuries because his body's in pretty much great condition. So I'm a GM. I'm putting my money into Kawhi Leonard, hands down, over Anthony Davis. So that's going to really play a token. I think the better question is who's going to have a longer career. Because even though I do think Kawhi Leonard does take care of his body at a top-tip condition, he does have degenerate knees. He does load manage, so it's only going to be about, I think, a 4 or 5 more window he's going to play. Anthony Davis, he might play until, around that time as well. But he's not going to be as impactful, and I don't think people are going to be out on Anthony Davis. I think Kawhi Leonard, as long as he's in the league, he's going to be a top player where people is going to be willing to, sell the house for him. But those are my thoughts, what I'm saying. I said Anthony Davis, again, is more injury-prone than Kawhi Leonard. It's not even close, and I will invest my future into Kawhi Leonard way before Anthony Davis. But let me know what y'all think about this video, what I'm saying. Pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull up. Peace. Out of here like swim well.